Okay, we're going to grab our second to lightest loop band, bringing it around our wrists. We'll come into child's pose, placing our forearms on the foam roller, palms facing in, sitting our tailbone back onto our heels. Deep inhale and exhale, feeling the pelvis sink towards the heels. Inhale, pelvis pulls down. Exhale, inner thighs pull back towards the back of your mat. Again, inhale, pelvis pulls down. Exhale, inner thighs pull back. Plug the shoulders down the back. Pull out on this band, engaging your scapular stabilizers. Plug the shoulders down. Make sure you're pushing down and out with those forearms. Lift your chin. Engage the front of the neck. Really sit your tailbone back a little bit more each time to stretch out the low back on your exhales. Go ahead and move yourself to a diagonal to your right, still keeping the forearms on the roller, palms facing in. Now sitting the opposing, so the opposite butt cheek. If you're to the right, that's your left butt cheek is sitting really heavy on your heel. You're inhaling, pulling the pelvis towards the heels. Exhaling, inner thighs are pulling back to whatever's behind you. We want to get deep into the posture, opening up that tight back, relaxing the facial muscles, and hearing your breath. Inhale. And Ujjayi breath, which is like the ocean. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Sitting back deeper. Exhale. And 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Let's make our way to the second side. Make sure as you're sitting back, you're not collapsing the head down onto the chest. Widen that gap because we don't want to reinforce forward head syndrome. Really sit that opposite butt cheek. You're to the left now, so it's going to be that right butt cheek is going to sit back. Inhale. Pull the lower abdominals in, and this Darth Vader sound allows you to contract the deepest layer of your core, your transverse abdominis, so you get a workout for your inner core muscles, and you also send oxygen to the areas we're stretching and working today. So remember that your breath is as important as the repetitions, and it affects the quality of your movement. Inhale. And exhale, walking yourself back to center. Let's make our way onto our backs, taking our second to heaviest loop band around our outer thighs. So we'll place that loop band around the outer thighs, and then we'll lie on our back. Our hands are going to come to our hips. With our bony protrusions, we're going to take our thumbs to the bony protrusions of the hips, and the rest of the fingers are together and they're pointing down towards the bottom of the mat. I want you to, if you can't reach the bony protrusions of your hips, aim for them with your thumbs. If you reach them, I want you to kind of pull out very gently and feel the pelvis widening. And then with the other fingers, pull down on your pelvis as you inhale both legs into the air, pointing the toes, nice and perpendicular to the floor, straight legs. So we'll start with your non-dominant leg lowering and lifting. So if you're right-handed, this is your right leg. If you're left-handed, this is your left leg. It's the same leg as your non-dominant leg, as your dominant arm. It's very confusing, but we walk in opposition. So we tend to sit into the hip of our opposite leg as we're working our dominant arm, which means that side gets stronger, especially in the glutes and outer hip area. So as we're lowering and lifting, we're breathing. We inhale to lift, and we exhale to lower. The hands are on the hips to remind you to plug the shoulders down, to pull the pelvis down on each inhale, and to keep the pelvis wide and not hiking from side to side. So you're pulling out on the bony protrusions of the hips and pulling down on the pelvis. If your facial muscles are tightening, just close your eyes and relax them. Try to soften the front ribs towards the back ribs so that your rib cage doesn't push out and you don't disengage with your core. Go ahead and bend the knee of the work of both legs and lower the feet to the ground. We're going to move into a glute bridge. Legs are hip distance apart, palms are on the floor, facing down. Inhale the hips up, interlacing the hands under the back and pushing the fist you're making into the floor, wiggling the upper arms underneath you to open up the front of your shoulders. Breathing here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And one more breath here. Inhale and exhale, peeling down upper back, mid back to tailbone, hands back to the hips, fingers facing down the legs, thumbs on the bony protrusions of the hips. Inhale the legs up, hip distance apart, perpendicular to the floor, pointed toes. Now the dominant leg, point the toes as that leg goes down. Inhale to lift it up. Exhale to lower down. And remember, your dominant leg is opposite of your dominant arm. If you're ambidextrous, then you can pick a side. Also, if you've been in a cast for over 6 months, your dominant leg could be the opposite of what it would normally be. So there are exceptions, but it's very important to try to work the dominant side first because it sends the muscle memory to the non-dominant side so the form can be adjusted and worked on. And we also do extra repetitions on our non-dominant side. Continue on. Give me 4 more. Taking it down as you exhale, lifting as you inhale. 2 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Bend the knees. Plant the feet on the ground. Hands at your side, palms facing down. Inhale the pelvis up. Interlace the hands underneath you. Switch the grip. It's going to feel funky. The fingers may be facing you now instead of facing each other. Plug your shoulders down your back, wiggling the upper arms underneath you. Widen the gap between the chin and the chest. Feel your pelvis reaching to the wall in front of you. All corners of the feet pressing heavy into the floor. On your next exhale, release the grip of the hands and begin to round down upper back, mid back to tailbone. From here, let's go ahead and take both legs into the air, inhaling them up. Take the hands behind the head and we're going to do some crunches. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. Making sure that if you're feeling the front of the thighs, you bend the knees and keep your legs in tabletop. And if you're still feeling them here, after tucking your pelvis and flattening your low back into the floor, you can bring the feet all the way to the floor with the knees pointing up to the ceiling. 4 more repetitions, working the upper fibers of your outer abs here, the rectus abdominis. And 2 more. 2. Last one. And 1. Exhale, lower those feet to the floor. And bring the hands by your side. Let's go ahead and slide out our non-dominant leg on the ground. And we'll take our dominant hand behind our head now. And let's take both hands behind our head so there's no confusion. Go ahead and crunch up, taking the leg that's extended up as the upper body lifts. Point the toes and lower it down. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. 3 more. Inhale, lift and exhale. And if you can, try to open your elbows out to the side and plug your shoulders down your back. Really rest the head heavy into the hands like it's resting back into a hammock, and take some space and create some space between the chin and the chest. Try to not drop the chin onto the chest as you come up each time. Plug your shoulders down, widen your collarbone, and plenty. Let's switch sides, setting up on the other side, bending the knee, putting the foot down you just worked, and point the toes before you begin. Inhale to lift, pelvis reaching to the wall in front of you. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Keep it going. Using your breath. Inhale up and exhale down. Last two, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And one more time, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Bend that knee, placing the foot back on the ground. Great job.